talking theatre next. Joshua Mason going to be having a little chat about the ways that you can still engage with theatre and enjoy the theatre without actually being able to go to the theatre. How about this then? Talking about the world of theatre, darling. And how you can still interact with the theatre even though you can't physically go to it at the moment. And Joshua Mason is here to help me with that. Evening, Joshua. How are you?
Hello, good evening, Martin. I'm really well, thank you. How are you keeping?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. From Inspirations Theatre Company in Chesterfield, and here to talk about some of the stuff that has been kind of capturing your imagination and sort of catching your eye, I suppose, over the last little while in terms of ways that people can still enjoy that magic of theatre without being able to go. Shall we start with The Greatest Show? What's this all about?
Yeah, so we had an incredible treat from BBC One on Sunday evening. It was a musical concert filmed live at the London Palladium entitled Musicals, The Greatest Show. And it was hosted by Sheridan Smith, who performed herself, and it featured music from some of the biggest musicals in history, like Les Miserables, which was actually a performance that was streamed in from Manila in the Philippines by Leah Salonga. Wow. It was fab. But what was really, really great to see was a big focus on contemporary musicals. So there was performances from Six and Dear Evan Hansen and the upcoming new Andrew Lloyd Webber musical Cinderella, and, of course, the smash hit Everybody's Talking About Jamie, which actually started its life as an original Sheffield Crucible musical production, which has now taken the West End by storm and is being turned into a major film that's being released, hopefully, later this year.
Now, has it? See, I wasn't so sure about it. I know it's based on a true story, and a great story. I saw Jamie, not the one that the musical's about. Jamie, no, is his name Jamie? The guy from Strictly Come Dancing with the blonde hair. He did a dance to a song from the musical, and I thought, I'm not sure. But you liked it, did you? From what you've heard of it?
Yeah. I went to see that original production in Sheffield, and it was absolutely amazing. I mean, I had no idea at the time it was going to go on and be as successful as it was, but I think seeing the songs in the actual context of the show makes a huge difference.
Right.
When it's been pulled out and is being used for something different, you don't get that full impact and meaning behind it, really.
Yeah, good point, actually. I suppose when you're just watching something on strictly just one number, you don't get the storyline. And the storyline is really, really moving, I know, and it's a true story about someone called Jamie. And that wasn't the story behind it, I know we're going off on a tangent here, but wasn't the story behind it that at age 16, he decided that he wanted to go to his prom in drag? Am I remembering
Correct.
that right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Jamie knew wanted to go to his prom in a dress, and it was this big controversy, of course, and it was I think it was a BBC Three documentary that followed him, and the oppression that he got from the school and the other students. But eventually, spoiler alert, he did eventually get to go to the prom. It wasn't cancelled. He was able to go in his dress, looking fabulous, really.
yeah, there we go. Let's move on, because we weren't just talking about Jamie there, we were talking about a whole host of musicals, and a real treat. If you're a big fan of musicals, you can get that on the BBC iPlayer. It's called The Greatest Show. Let's move on and talk about The Colour Purple. Go ahead.
Yeah, so when I was here last time, I was really excited to tell you about the extension given to the online production of Sunset Boulevard that was being produced by Leicester's Curve Theatre. Well, that was such a huge success that they've just announced that they're teaming up with the Hippodrome Theatre in Birmingham to bring us another online musical masterpiece, The Colour Purple. And that's going to be streaming from the 16th of February to the 7th of March. Now, this unforgettable story is based on the 1982 novel and the 1985 film of the same name. And it's actually told over the course of 40 years. It follows the courageous heroine Celie as she journeys through joy, despair, anguish and hope in her own personal awakening to discover her unique voice in the world. It's got such an evocative score which draws inspiration from jazz, ragtime, gospel and blues, and allows this really moving family chronicle that's set in the time of racially divided Southern America. to really celebrate life and explore the strength of standing up for who you are and what you believe in. The tickets can be purchased at curveonline.co.uk for just £20 a household. So I would really, really recommend that people tune into that.
Yeah, it's called The Colour Purple. Interesting stuff. Thank you very much, Joshua. Stay there, because I know that you've been having a look at not just some of the big shows that are worth having a little watch of, and the stuff you can watch on TV, things like that. There's been a bit of news actually from the world of theatre in the last little while that you've been sort of having a bit of a read of and jetting up on. So we'll talk about that in just a second. Joshua Mason is here. More from him in a sec. Love it. Absolutely love it. I've just got so much time for that. Genuinely, if I was allowed to, I'd play it again. I really would. But there's things to do and people to speak to, and one of those people is Joshua Mason, who is here to talk theatre stuff. He's from Inspirations Theatre Company in Chesterfield. And Joshua, let's talk a little bit more about some of the kind of theatre-related, musicals-related news stories that you've been seeing over the last little while that have caught your attention. What have you been reading recently?
Yeah, so there's been three really big things that I want to try and get through. So the last time I was here, I talked about the 15-minute musical 21 Chump Street, which was written by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah.
And he actually went on to create the global smash hit Hamilton. Well, it's just been announced that thanks to its release on Disney Plus last year, Hamilton has just received 2 Golden Globe nominations. The first one for Best Actor for Lin-Manuel Miranda himself, portraying the lead role of Alexander Hamilton, and also the really big one as Best Music Movie. Now, the ceremony is taking place on February the 28th, so make sure to tune in to see if Hamilton wins.
Oh, nice one. So this is because it's been on some sort of streaming service. It now doesn't just count as a theatre thing. It counts as a TV show as well, and that means it can win Golden Globes and things.
Exactly, yeah. How cool is that?
That is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Speaking of bringing theatre things onto the screen, there's a film adaptation of something theatre-y that you've been hearing about.
Yeah. There's just this last week, actually, it's been announced that there's going to be a movie adaptation of the Pasek and Paul hit musical Dear Evan Hansen that's going to be released later this year on the 24th of September. Now, this was completely unexpected. We knew that the project was being developed, but I don't think anyone was expecting a release so soon, especially considering the limitations placed on the film industry by the coronavirus pandemic. However, we're really excited to see members of the original Broadway production being part of the film's cast, including Ben Platt reprising his Tony Award-winning performance as the lead, Evan.
Very nice. So that is Dear Evan. I've not heard of it myself, have to say. So it might be one for me to check out with the film adaptation, because is it worth seeing? Is it good? Is it a good one?
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. Again, the London cast performed on Sunday for The Greatest Show, so that's a great place to check it out to start with.
Perfect. This is all tying in.
Fantastic music in it, and it's actually the same people that wrote The Greatest Showman. So if you like the music in that, you'll probably like the music in Dear Evan Hansen. Yeah,
you are selling it. You are selling it to me. Finally, then, a live cast recording of is it called Come From Away? That's what it's called. Which I've heard of, but I don't think I could tell you what it was about.
So what they're doing is a live on-stage recording of Come From Away. So a bit like the Hamilton that's on Disney Plus. It's not going to be a film adaptation. It's going to be a recording of the stage show. But again, it's going to feature the original Broadway cast, and it's going to be released for live streaming. We haven't got a lot of information about when it's going to be or anything like that, but both the Broadway and London productions won loads of awards. But actually, the show, since you asked, it actually starts at the very start of the horrific events that occurred on 9/11, but it's actually set nearly 1,500 miles away from the atrocities of the day in a small village on Newfoundland called Gander. And this
I know what this is now. Yeah,
yes,
I know exactly what this is.
It follows the passengers that were grounded and the relationships that they made with the villages and the population. It really does reaffirm the human spirit. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, the second you said Newfoundland, I remembered exactly what it is, and it does sound really, really, really good. Joshua, thank you so much, as always, for coming on. Really, really appreciate it. Have a wonderful evening, and keep watching stuff and keep making notes about things, because I'm going to get you on again in a few weeks' time, and you can tell me some more things that I need to make sure I see to keep involved with the theatre. So thank you so much for that.